Meanwhile, Americans now are paying more for just about everything these days. Supply chain issues forcing big retailers to charter cargo ships to get those items in their stores. Inflation is hitting nearly every business, some choosing to cut customer services instead of raising the price. All that on top of the shockingly poor jobs report on Friday. Andy Puzder, former CKE restaurant CEO, and It's Time to Let America Work Again author. Andy, nice to see you. Good morning. I saw the piece you wrote at foxnews.com at the end of last week. You got shipping. You've got the price of gas and food. You've got energy coming up this winter. Where do you think we're going? How do we get out of this? Or how does this end, Andy?
Well, look, we're definitely headed towards higher inflation. You can't reduce the labor supply by, increasing the amount of entitlements that you create for people not to work. And Biden's plan is we're going to spend a bunch of money to create jobs. We have an excess number of jobs right now. The problem is a shortage of workers, which is really messing up our supply chain. Then you've got the shipping that you go to any of these shipping terminals, and there aren't enough people to unload the goods. You don't have people to deliver goods. So the price of everything's going to go up as goods become scarcer. You add on top of that energy policy, where the third largest energy producer in the world, the United States, lets the world know it's going to cut back on production. Well, the OPEC, the Russians, the Venezuelans, the Saudi Arabians are smacking their lips at that. Prices are going up on energy. Bill Mayer had a good comment, and I don't often quote him, but I'm going to quote him this time. He said, "How can you build back better if you don't have supplies and people to do the jobs?" And he's absolutely right. We're heading into a very, very bad period of time unless we get some dynamic changes in the way this administration deals with the economy.
Yeah, over the weekend, they're talking about the shipyards could be an issue through the year 2022. I don't know how that's possible. From Savannah, here's Griffin Lynch. He's working the line. Watch.
We have 80,000 containers on our terminal right now. If we line those up end to end, that would be about 600 miles of containers. It's creating congestion. We've had people move from our industry in the supply chain, working in the warehouse or driving a truck, moving to delivering packages instead of working in a warehouse. And that's concerning.
I don't know what we do if this goes on for another year or plus. Price of goods over the year, beef, bacon, pork, steak, ribs, poultry, fish, and seafood, just about all up double digits with the exception of poultry. I think here's the big danger. Wage increases versus inflation. Inflation is up 5.3%. Wages only 4.6%. That is the danger facing this economy now, sir.
We've had, and the problem is we're coming out of the Trump administration where for 4 years, wage growth greatly exceeded inflation growth. But since March, since the Democrats and President Biden passed their $1.9 trillion so-called rescue bill, we've seen inflation grossly exceeding wage growth. And that means people's checks are bigger, but they're worth less. And we're going to see more and more of that as we go forward. The CPI, the inflation numbers come out tomorrow or Wednesday. And we're going to compare them to wage growth from last month. Wage growth has been strong because employers are out there competing for employees. But if inflation is increasing even more than wages are increasing, workers are getting further behind. That's a tax on working and middle class Americans. That's Joe Biden's inflation tax.
And I mentioned the piece at foxnews.com. Stop Discouraging Work is the title of it. Andy, thanks for coming in, okay? Andy Puzder, the issue is going to be out there for some time. We'll come back and talk about it again. Thank you, Andy.